I think I know what went wrong here. Was it when this asshole burst in like a wet fart? That's an actual line from this actual movie that you can actually watch on Netflix right now. Today we're going to be talking about Rebirth, which is a new Netflix original movie. Rebirth is a really hard movie to classify. It's a thriller, but it's also a satire, and it's kind of like Eyes Wide Shut meets The Truman Show. It's fucking weird, dude. Please don't equate weird with quality. Obviously, it's Netflix, so there's a little bit of quality control, but this movie is it's pretty rough. I watched 40 minutes of this movie straight, and I had no fucking clue what it was actually about. So the premise of this movie is basically that there's this guy. His name is Kyle. Hey, that's my name. And he's played by Fran Kranz. If you've seen The Cabin in the Woods, he's the like crazy stoner guy from that movie. And then the other, not necessarily main character, but one of the biggest supporting characters is Adam Goldberg, who you may know as the Hebrew Hammer. It starts out with this guy going to the other guy's office and saying, "Hey bro, what's up? Haven't seen you in a long time, haven't seen you since college. I've got this great opportunity for you. We're gonna hang out and we're gonna do this really crazy thing that I think you're gonna enjoy." So it's marketed as like some weird like getaway, like fuck fest orgy thing. It actually turns out to be this weird therapy movement. There's an orientation, goes to a group meeting, goes to all this weird shit, and it's just like there's undertones of like sex and torture and like personal healing. It kind of just falls apart, and you're like as confused as the main character, which normally that's something that you should enjoy in a movie. I think it's nice to put you into the character's shoes. It just never gets on track. It turns out that this guy's friend was manipulating the whole thing to pull this guy out of his perfectly contained like bubble in his, office job life where he works at a bank as a like social media analyst or something stupid like that. He writes Twitter posts to get kids to get mortgages for houses. It doesn't fucking matter. This movie doesn't matter. Now, I like that Netflix is trying to branch out, that they're trying to bring original content and movies, but unlike Stranger Things, which I reviewed before, this falls so flat. I feel like this movie was a commentary on cults or shit like Amway or psychology, but it never connects on any one of those levels. They use really vague and bland statements and a lot of cryptic fucking bullshit filler just to pad out the runtime. And at the very end of the movie, it has this like pro-Rebirth slant to it. There's like 10 minutes of a fucking fake infomercial at the end. I can't even put this movie into words. It's very difficult without you actually having watched it. But I don't recommend you watch it. The production values, I guess they're fine. They're not super high quality. It's really just like a 2-location, maybe a 3-location film. You got like a house, you've got the place where Rebirth takes place, and then you've got a hotel, and that's it. Obviously, it wasn't made on a really high budget. There's no real plot structure, and there's just such a ridiculous twist to it that it just feels unbelievable. This, a fucking guy walks into this whole situation not knowing what's going on, and then it turns out that he got played into it. This movie did not know how to handle it, and it really it never found its footing. It never knew if it actually wanted to be a comedy, whether it wanted to be a thriller, whether it wanted to make a statement about greed and social media or how you live your life. And that's the stuff that they were trying to tackle. But my God, they just don't understand. Here's a little preview of what the dialogue is like in this movie. What am I doing here? You have a question, but do you know the answer? Can you help me? I don't know. Can I help you? Are you going to ask me anything other than questions? Am I going to ask you anything other than questions? Why does this movie suck? Does this movie suck? Fucking the entire movie is like that. Every single character has a cryptic answer for something else that somebody else is saying, and it never goes anywhere. Except for one weird-ass scene where there's like a truth room. There's like 3 women there, and then there's this really like old like guru guy. The main character's just freaking out. He's like, I want to get out of here. This place sucks. And the guru's like, yes, tell us how you really feel about stuff. And then the women are like, oh, he's being so honest. It's great. And I'm pulling out my phone because this is another ridiculous real line from the movie. So again, the main character Kyle goes, I want to get the fuck out of here, blah, blah, blah. He's going off on this huge fucking rant, just angry. And then this woman is like, do you mind if I speak my mind, tell everyone what I'm thinking? You know, I know it's Kyle's first time at Rebirth, so I don't know if I should really be saying this, but when I look at Kyle, I just see this huge, angry, erect cock. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? What were you thinking when you wrote this? Who had final say over the script? Who thought it would be a good idea to light this movie like a fucking freshman in film school? Not that I'm one to talk. I'm not good at lighting. But hey, I didn't get paid a shitload of money to make the movie. Who thought it'd be a good idea to cast Adam Goldberg? Who thought it'd be a good idea to cast Fran Kranz? Like, did somebody just look at those 2 guys and say, hey, they vaguely look like Oscar Isaac and Domhnall Gleeson from fucking Ex Machina. So clearly they're going to have the same dynamic, right? No, of course not. Fucking Fran Kranz is good at playing a weird, paranoid stoner guy. And Adam Goldberg is good at, I don't even know. If I can talk about the positives, the only one thing that I liked was that, like, when Fran Kranz loses his shit in this movie, he loses it. But that doesn't make for an entire movie. There's a fine line between being artsy and being a moron. This movie, it started kind of on the artsy side, flipped over to the moron side, and stayed there. I like what they were going for. I like the approach. Again, production values aren't that bad. There is some quality control at Netflix. Lighting, camera work were not great. They look like, starting at a film school, maybe a little bit higher level, but they definitely did not look like feature film level. Sets were barely dressed. A lot of the actors in the background were not very impressive. There's some weird lady that's like an assistant to Adam Goldberg's character, but also she seems like a cult leader, and she never really has anything memorable in the movie. It's all just all over the place. It's not a memorable movie. You're gonna forget it. You're gonna forget it pretty fast once you watch it. So my final verdict for Rebirth is gonna have to be 4.5. Not everything's gonna be a winner. It's not like I had to pay for it, and you don't have to pay for it either. So if you want a way to kill an hour and a half, sure, why not? My name is Kyle, and as always, I'm going to leave a list of pros and cons at the end here. Thank you for tuning in. I'm recording this at 3 a.m., so I'm going to keep it brief. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked the video, hit like. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button, and I've got 2 other videos here for you. Stay tuned, more reviews coming in soon. Later.